What I wish I knew before trying to get pregnant. This is kind of like fertility edition, trigger warning if you want to scroll along. I have 4 children, 2 biological and 2 adopted, and I started trying to have biological children when I was 29 years old. I had no concept of what it took to get pregnant. I had no understanding of my fertility and my cycle and how to track it. I just thought you get off birth control and then you just go for it, right? And you try and it's probably gonna happen. I had no understanding of ovulation tracking. I had no understanding of how to track your own cycle or the different phases of your cycle. I didn't understand, I didn't even understand what cervical mucus was for. Why did it exist? What did it mean? Your temperature, no context. I had no idea about any of that. I also didn't know what was available to me in the terms of my healthcare, right? I didn't know about any of the risk factors I should be looking out for. I didn't know anything. What's normal? What's not normal? I started not trying, we're like, oh, if it happens, it happens, and was pregnant within the first month. It was lucky, pregnant in the first month. Unlucky, I did have an ectopic pregnancy that ruptured and had to have a tubal removal. That is when I started learning about it. That is when I started tracking my cycle. That is when I started monitoring things, because now my risk or my chances of getting pregnant had felt like they'd gone down 50%. And so that's when I started learning about it. But nobody had told me any of these things. Nobody had told me that there's a few days that you might be able to get pregnant. I thought it was just a free-for-all, right? Because that's what you're taught. Nobody tells you anything when you're in high school sex ed class about how to get pregnant. They just don't. Birth control, abstinence. They don't say you could track your cycle. And not that that's it's not a perfect science, but it's incredibly helpful. I learned so much about my body after becoming pregnant. Ovulation tracking, had no idea about that. Didn't know what that was. Didn't know that your temperature could tell you so much, your sleep, none of it. Had no context. And obviously neither did my partner. So many things I learned. But I also learned how to advocate for myself. I learned that I could ask for testing, for fertility testing, which I wish I had done. I wish I'd asked for genetic testing. I wish I'd known about all of these things. And I wish that our healthcare system also offered those to women in their 20s, because why shouldn't we have access to knowledge about our body? I was picture perfect, should have gotten pregnant and had successful pregnancies really easily. I didn't. I had 2 back-to-back ectopics rupture. I had no tubes. I ended up having to do IVF. I learned a lot through IVF. I ended up having a hysterectomy. There is so much I did not know about pregnancy, about motherhood, and there's just nobody telling you. So nobody knows. After I had my ectopic pregnancies, a guy friend of ours was like, oh, so what do you do now? You just need to take different vitamins to get pregnant? No, sir. It's literally physically impossible now to get pregnant without intervention from a doctor. We know so little about how the female body works and how reproduction works. Nobody teaches us. We are blind. It is truly, truly sad. What did you not know? Because I didn't know anything, apparently. But seriously, we need to do better about educating girls and women about their bodies, about how they work.